So I fired a client this week. She'd been with me for 4 absolutely beautiful years. Loyal, lovely, absolutely not doing anything wrong, but also not doing anything at all. And within days of letting her go, 2 new clients signed up. Coincidence? I think the fuck not. Today I'm talking about the power of firing clients and why holding on to the wrong people might be blocking your success, and why 2026 needs to be the year that you protect your energy at all costs. This podcast is being recorded on Gubbi land. We pay our respects to the traditional custodians of this land, our country, and elders past and present. It's another episode of Tell Me About It podcast. I'm Cait, Muir, and today I'm talking about something that happened actually in my business this week that I thought would be a great topic, and that is that I fired a client. I actually let a client go this week. And before you gasp or think, in this economy, hear me out, because I think it's one of the most important conversations we can really have as business owners, service providers, coaches, or honestly anyone who exchanges their time and energy for money. So I am going to cover why I fired a long-term loyal client, what happened energetically when I did, and when it's appropriate to let go of clients who are horrible, how to actually have those conversations. And I think it's a lesson that we all need to take into 2026, which is realistically protecting our energy. So my client story this week and what happened this week and why I did it. So I had a client who'd been with me for about 4 years. 4 years is a really long time for us. Most of our clients are 18 months to 3 years. They're awesome. We love them. She was loyal. She was lovely. Or I should say she is loyal and she is lovely. And genuinely, she is amazing in so many ways. But over the past several months, maybe even longer, maybe the last year even, if I'm being really honest, something had shifted. She was forever cancelling her appointments, and I don't mean the occasional, hey, something came up, can we reschedule? I mean not showing up. I mean always texting back no, not really responding to my staff. It wasn't just the normal life stuff. It was a pattern that was developing. And it was a consistent pattern of kind of booking sessions, then pulling out last minute, or not showing up in the same energy she used to. She never came to group coaching sessions. We could see she wasn't accessing our client portal. There was no activity in our little community. She just wasn't really being active in the work. She wasn't doing the things we discussed between sessions. She was just coasting along. And what I realized in my conversation with her was she was just keeping me there. Having a coach on a retainer, someone in her corner to bounce ideas off, made her feel really secure. But security or staying in our little glass box is not teaching us anything. Staying comfortable and not moving and staying stagnant is not teaching us anything. It's not helping us at all. So she wasn't using me. She wasn't doing the work. She was paying for the comfort of knowing I was there and not for actual transformation or growth or coaching or mentoring or anything that we provide. So some of you are probably thinking, well, so what? She was paying, you're getting paid, what's the problem? And honestly, she was a great client. She never missed a payment. There was never anything late, nothing like that. And look, I wrestled with this thought as well, and I have wrestled before it in the past, because money's money, right? I have mortgages up to my eyeballs. I get it. And in business, we're often told to hold on to everything that we can, especially the loyal ones who've been around forever. But where it gets uncomfortable and where I really lent into was I'm integrous in how I do business, and I couldn't in good conscience keep taking her money when it wasn't genuinely offering her anything of value. Not because I wasn't capable of it, but because she wasn't participating in anything. The service I provide requires partnership. It's 2 people or more people showing up. And when one person checks out, whether that's me or them, the whole thing becomes hollow and kind of doesn't really function or doesn't really work. So make no mistake too, like in our 4 years, she had stepped off the floor completely, gotten married, had a child, grown from 3 to 8 staff. She was extremely profitable, which is a beautiful thing to see. She even spent 5 weeks in Europe this year while her salon ran for her without her even there. But it was time, and we'd done as much together as we possibly could. So I had a conversation with her, and it wasn't easy. I actually hate breakup conversations. 4 years of history. 4 years of rapport, 4 years of friendship, 4 years of this beautiful client-mentor relationship, 4 years of being in her corner. But I told her it was time to go and fly. I told her that I felt that she had outgrown what we were doing together, or maybe what we were doing together had simply run its course. I released her with love. with gratitude and with the genuine belief that she needed to find her next thing, whatever that looked like. So my doors are always open to those clients that I'm returning. I have it happen frequently, actually, where I have clients that will go have 6 months off and then rejoin our iconic coaching circle. But for now, she needs to go and spread her wings, fly on her own, at least for now, if not forever. So it's been really healthy, and it was sad, but it was bittersweet. It was beautiful, and I'm stoked that I did this conversation. And so I guess the part that I want to explain, which was it always happens to me every time. And no matter how much I wrestle with these decisions and I find it really hard to make these decisions, something really cool happens. And I reckon it might happen to you too. So with the energy of letting go, this is the part that blew my mind. Within days, actually one happened on the same day in the afternoon because this was a morning conversation, and one happened 4 days later. I got sent 2 new clients organically, did not come to me through marketing, just came to me organically. 2 new people who are ready, who are hungry, who are excited to do the work, who are ready for change, signed up with me. And I know some of you might roll your eyes at this, but I truly believe there's a seriously massive energetic component to business that we don't talk about enough. And when I'm holding space for clients who aren't showing up, who aren't doing anything, I'm cock blocking myself from finding something better or finding something new and exciting and finding something more. I was energetically at capacity. I say this a lot to people when they hold on to staff in their teams. They hold on to these cancerous, toxic people because they make them a lot of money, or they XYZ, or they've been around for a long time. And I'm like, yeah, but you're literally cock blocking yourself from finding your next great employee, from finding your next great person who will work in your business and do better and be better. Not everybody's meant to stick around forever. Some people are put in your pathway to teach you something or to create something for you. So I was energetically full and I had no room, and that's what I was clutching onto, and that's why those new clients hadn't come to me yet. I think about this kind of like business is like a wardrobe. If your wardrobe is full of clothes and stuffed with things that you never wear, things that don't fit anymore, things that don't bring you joy, things that you're keeping just in case, even though you'll never wear them, there's no room for new pieces that actually light you up, that make you feel good, that make you look good. You have to clear out the old to make space for the new. And business is exactly the same. Also, this is why I frequently clean out my wardrobe. Cleansing is so good for the soul. I then go sell it. I free up some money. Energetically, I'm decluttering and creating space. Business is the same. So when you hold on to clients out of guilt, out of fear, out of some misplaced energy or misplaced sense of loyalty, you're telling the universe or God or whoever you believe in, whatever higher power that is, that you're not ready for more and that you're happy staying still. You're saying, I'm full, thanks, no vacancy at this hotel. And the universe listens. It doesn't send you new opportunities because you've made it clear you can't handle them. The moment that I released this client, the energy shifted. I felt lighter. I felt more aligned with the work I was doing. I felt good for her because I was saving her money. I felt good for her because I was pushing her to do something better. And I definitely think that shift was visible or palpable in some way because the right people started being thrown at me, which is fucking cool as fuck. And I just love that stuff. And look, I don't want to just be like this woo-woo nonsense energy. I know that some of you don't fuck with that, and that's fine. There's practical logic to it too. When you're drained by clients who don't show up or don't appreciate you, you're not bringing your best self to your business. Your content, your marketing, your outreach, your sessions, you're operating from a place of depletion, and you tend to, as humans, we're always mirroring the people that are around us, right? So if your clients are flat, you're going to be flat. If I'm flat, they're going to be flat. If I'm vibing high and bringing them up, they're probably going to come up with me, and vice versa. So people can sense that. They can feel when you're running on empty, but when you clear out what's no longer serving you, you show up differently and you act differently and you attract differently. You attract better, right? It's all about the vibes. I did also want to touch on this because I thought this was probably a valuable conversation to have for those of you who may be facing this. And I feel like 2025 has been a really weird year for stuff. Everyone's had stuff going on. Everyone's had a big year. I feel like it's been just a fucking roller coaster of years. If you didn't listen to my episode 2 weeks ago, you should. I explain in depth why it happened, in my belief of why it happened. But I want to talk about the other reason for firing clients. This one's a bit more straightforward, but somehow people still struggle with it. If your clients are cunts, if they're horrible to you, you shouldn't be giving them your time and energy. Full stop. It doesn't even matter if they're paying you top dollar, paying you heaps of money. It doesn't matter. If they're awful, get rid of them. And I'm talking about the clients who are forever difficult, right? The ones who are never satisfied, the ones who, no matter what you do, you can't get it right, the ones who gaslight you, compare you to others, make you feel like absolute trash. And I had, from memory in my head, I was thinking barbering career, I had about 5 of these over that 15, 16-year span. And I remember having the conversation with the first one and it was horrible, and she cried, and then she told me that I was being awful. And, I think I was like 22 at this stage, didn't even have a fully developed prefrontal cortex, had never had an uncomfortable conversation like this in my life, but I did it anyway. And immediately I felt a lot better. So if you work in the service industry, and honestly, most of you who are listening to me do, because obviously that's my world, you would know exactly who I'm talking about. If it's a lot of your clients, that's really concerning, because you tend to, for the most part, attract people who are like you or how you're vibrating. But it's the client who sits in your chair and says, oh my God, my last hairdresser was just so great. They always got it right. I don't know why you can't figure it out. Or it's the person who constantly tells you how great their last PT was compared to you, or how epic that other restaurant was that they used to eat at all the time, or how their previous therapist just understood them better and met their needs better. These people are energy vampires. They take and they take and they take, and they leave you feeling small, incompetent, exhausted, and in my opinion, no amount of money is worth your mental health. And let me tell you, when I fired that first client, I remember her name was Robin, I was not in a position where I needed that money, right? It was like a $70 haircut, I think, maybe even cheaper than that back then. But I needed her money. And I still made that decision because I chose myself and my mental health and the health of my staff than I did over having that absolutely horrid woman in my business. So I have fired clients for this reason too. Not often, because most of my clients are babes. They're absolutely epic. But it has happened. And every single time, while the conversation itself might be actually really awkward and horrible, and there's tears or anger or like aggression or something like that, I do always walk away overall feeling like I've reclaimed a piece of myself and my soul that maybe that person took away from me, or maybe that I'd given away to them in hopes of trying to keep them around. When you release a nightmare client, you open up space for dream clients. And in this, exactly what happened with my beautiful client that I let go of, better people always come along. Not saying people are better than her, but right now for where she's at, I've got more in tune clients. So again, it's just about that unhealthy energy exchange of you giving to people who don't appreciate, don't reciprocate, take. You cannot attract wonderful people and great clients while you're tolerating awful ones. Energy doesn't work that way. It's the same in any relationship, but for today, I really wanted to talk about it in a business sense. So if you're not sure how to navigate those conversations, in my experience, you have to be really direct, still kind, but you have to be direct. You don't need to make it dramatic or hugely aggressive or anything. It can actually be quite gentle. How I navigate it is, look, you make it really clear that I can't give you what you want and I never make you happy. I don't think it's good for us to continue this relationship. I'm going to refer you to some people who will be a better fit for you and who can make sure that you get what you want. And always when I'm saying that, I make sure I put lots of yous in there, because they're the people who are making me aware that I'm not doing a good job, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not giving them what they need. And it's really important that you don't take that stuff on board, because it's not your burden to carry, and it's not your business. It's not your problem. You didn't do that. I'll share something with you. Maybe I shouldn't be putting this on a podcast, but anyways, here it is. The slightly petty but deeply satisfying part is if you can refer them to someone you don't like, that awful client becomes someone else's problem. Let someone else deal with it. I've done this multiple times. If there was a horrible person that I didn't like that did the same thing as me, I would refer the horrible clients to them. Anyway, it's so petty. I don't give a fuck. I hope they found happiness with each other. For clients who've simply outgrown the relationship or checked out, it can be even softer than that, and it should be. If they've done nothing wrong or they're not awful, obviously you're never going to treat them awfully. But something like, look, I've noticed things have shifted for you and I don't feel like I'm genuinely serving you anymore. I think it might be time for you to spread your wings and find your next chapter. Save yourself the dosh, go see someone else. It's loving, it's empowering, and it gives them the permission to fly without making anyone the villain. I also find, and this was my experience with this client that I moved on last week, was she was probably waiting for me to have that conversation. I don't think that she wanted to break up with me, and I didn't really want to break up with her either, but I always feel like we were both just waiting for each other to finish up, if that makes sense. So sometimes you should be the leader of that and you should grab that by the horns and you should go and have that conversation. But look, the key is to be clear. Don't waffle on. Don't over-explain. Don't apologize excessively unless you've done something wrong. You shouldn't apologize at all unless you've done something wrong. But state your truth, offer an alternative if it's appropriate to do so, and then close the door with grace. And like I said to you, my door's always ajar. My door's always open to clients to come back if they're kind ones. So maybe that helps a little bit to kind of mitigate those conversations. But I guess how I wanted to kind of come into my last topic here was the fear of letting go. And if you're going to channel a specific energy in 2026, or if you're going to have like a New Year's resolution or something, I always try to have like a theme of the year. It never works out that way. But hey, the idea is good. But I think the reason so many of us struggle really badly with firing clients is fear. Fear of losing income, fear of being seen as difficult or unprofessional, fear of clients going to bitch about us to someone, fear of confrontation, fear that maybe, just maybe, we won't find anyone else to replace this person. But you shouldn't be scared of confrontation. Confrontation is essential for clearing the air. It's essential for communicating needs, for communicating ideas, and it's especially essential in a workplace, whether that's with colleagues or with clients or whoever. But avoiding confrontation, sweeping things under the rug, pretending things don't exist, or just avoidance in general is peak emotional immaturity. It's so bad, and we have to go up and get on with it, especially when we're an owner of a business, but always, always, always. And look, that type of avoidant and I guess scarcity mindset's a bit of a killer. And when I say scarcity, I mean feeling like you'll never have clients, or you'll never replace them, or by losing one you won't survive, or you'll be so broke or whatever. It's all ego. And that type of ego like keeps us shackled to situations that drain us, and relationships that destroy us, and work that doesn't fulfill us. You spend 25% of your week, 25% of your entire week is spent at work if you work 40 hours a week. And so you need to be happy at work. You need to enjoy your work. And in business, if you're not happy and you don't enjoy what you do, and also it's not lucrative to you, why the fuck would you torture yourself with being in business? Why would you? It's so hard. It's so hard. It's great, but it's so hard. There has to be some benefit in it for you. So when we're stuck in the stage 5 clinger mindset, the one that isn't choosing the right customers for us, or, we're telling ourselves that something is better than nothing, or we should be grateful for any business at all, or that beggars can't be choosers, you're not a beggar. You're a professional. You've trained your whole life for this. You've trained most of your life for this. You're offering something of value. And if you don't believe that, then that's the first thing we need to work on, your sense of self-worth and the value of what you bring into the table. But nobody should be so desperate for money that they hold on to people that make them feel like trash. Nobody should tolerate being belittled, criticized, compared to other people just to keep the lights on. And if that's where you're at, I understand. I have been there. Let me tell you, holding on to awful staff, evil renter chairs, just horrible clients, horrible partners, horrible family members. And this was especially in the early days of building my business and really flexing that business muscle. But I'm here to tell you that it doesn't have to stay that way, and you can choose differently. And if there's anything to learn as we head into 2026, it's to only give your energy to things that reciprocate that energy, to be really intentional and healthy with your energy exchange, and to put your own mental health and your own well-being above everything else. The saying goes, I guess, fit your own oxygen mask first. And I'm sure that you've heard this phrase 1,000,001 times, but sit with it. If you're depleted, exhausted, resentful, running on fumes, and look, just to point this out, I know we're all running on fumes because it's the last week of the year, but I mean, if this is you all the time, how are you supposed to give great service to anyone? How are you meant to be present for your family, for your friends, for your other relationships, for yourself? You can't. It's not possible. So you can't fuel a car that's empty. You have to fill yourself up first. And part of filling yourself up is being absolutely disciplined and ruthless in the most loving way about what and who you allow to take from you. So this is my invitation to you as I wrap up this episode now, to take a look at your client roster, to take a look at the people you're giving your energy to every day, to audit your friendships, audit your relationships, and ask yourself honestly and truthfully, hand on heart, is this exchange healthy? Is it reciprocal? Is it serving both of us equally? If the answer is yes, fucking beautiful. I'm so happy for you. Go Glen Coco. Nurture those relationships, appreciate those clients. But if the answer is no, if there's someone that's draining you, someone who doesn't appreciate you, someone who's checked out, or someone who only shows up to tear you down, consider what it might look like when you let them go. Consider what space might open up. Consider what new opportunities might be thrust at you and that might just flow into you when you stop blocking them or cock blocking them with dead weight. You deserve to have clients that light you up. You deserve to do work that fulfills you. You deserve relationships in business and in life that nourish you rather than deplete you. And sometimes getting what you deserve requires letting go of what you've settled for and creating space and then calling those awesome motherfuckers into your life. Okay. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If this ep resonated with you, I'd love you to share it with someone who you think could need it. And if you're sitting there right now thinking about your client you know you need to release, take this as your golden ticket, as your sign, have the conversation, clear the space, and trust that something better is on its way, because it is. It always is. And until next time, take care of your energy. It's the most valuable thing you've got.